Hello, everybody. I just want to share with you that I read this book, Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard and Sheldon Bowles. And this is a powerful book, I must say. It's the subtitle says that it's a revolutionary approach to customer service. This book was published in 1993, and oh my gosh, I was only able to get hold of it when I went to a local bookstore. It's a book sale shop. It's called Bookends here in Baguio. Thank you, Bookends. And I got this, it's so wonderful because I heard about the phrase raving fans before from Brother Bo Sanchez, but it's only now that I get to read this wonderfully, beautifully crafted book. And it was packaged through a story. It's like a fictional story, but it is powerful. Why don't I just share with you the lessons that I learned? And there are 3 lessons. Number 1 is for you to be able to create raving fans, not just satisfied customers, but rather raving fans. As it says here, it's a revolutionary approach to customer service. For you to do that, number 1, and I hope I'll deliver this well, because, you got to read this book. What I'm going to share will not substitute in any way, or even just a hint somehow of the lessons that you'll get when you read this book. Yeah. So number 1 is that you gotta decide what you want. You decide, and that is, for you to do that, you need to create a vision of perfection centered on the moment when the customer uses the product. And that is your product or service. So it's like, picture in your mind the moment they receive your product or the moment they receive your service, what is it going to be? And you got to have that clear vision of that moment. It says there, create a vision of perfection. So what does that look like? That vision, that image of perfection. You got to have that. So that's number 1. And then number 2 is that even after you have your own vision of that moment of perfection, you gotta discover what the customer wants. Okay? You gotta ask them. Because, now, why do you have to do number 1 first before doing number 2? It is because the customer's vision has meaning only in the context of your own vision. And that's why you have to start with your own vision first before asking them what they want. Okay? So, now, when you have that, when you have your own vision and now asking what the customer wants, then you are able to clearly define what your window will be as well. Because there will be times when you have to tell your customers that, hey, I'm sorry, I cannot provide that. That's not within my core. That's not within the window that I defined. So maybe you have to go elsewhere. There will be times that you have to do that because you will not be able to satisfy like everybody or like convert everybody as your raving fans. It's going to be a defined few. Okay, and that defined few will be your raving fans. Wonderful, right? So you've got to define your window well. And if you have to tell them to go elsewhere, then you have to do that. Okay? Now, when you are to discover what the customer wants, you need to ask them. Okay? And then listen closely to what they say and they don't say. I learned in a book another phrase, listen to the music as well as the lyrics. That's very wise, right? Because there are 3 traps when we try to ask our customers. There are 3 traps and these happen. So it could be that your customers are saying one thing and they're meaning another. And so you have to be very careful. You have to listen to what is not being said because they might be saying something else, but what they really mean is something else. Okay, that's the first trap. The second trap is when they say it's fine. It's totally fine. And then you have to read between the lines. What do they mean by fine? Is it fine, fine, or it's fine, not really? Okay? And the third one is silence. They might not be saying anything. They might not be complaining. But hey, there could be something big behind that silence. Okay? Now, that is why we have to be grateful when people approach us and give us feedback. Even those who complain. So meaning if they are complaining, then they must be really saying something that is merits. Meaning they are complaining because maybe there's something that must really be addressed. Okay? And this is why I learned from the book that, hey, we have to ask more sincere questions. We have to listen and ask more sincere questions. Because when a customer complains, you know you're hearing the truth. Well, some may say that, hey, there are people are complaining and it's just because they're having a bad day. It's because they're carrying a baggage and they're just... their complaints are not valid. So maybe at times that could be true. But then if there is a complaint, then we have to look at it and hey, what's going on there? Okay, what's going on there? Because it could be that that person has a baggage, but something has triggered him or her. And that is why maybe we need to look at that. Okay? And that is why for us to be able to do that, what this book tells is that, especially for business owners or for managers or for team leaders, for your people to help you in creating raving fans, in delivering service, not just satisfying the customers, but rather delivering really an excellent service that would lead to creating raving fans, is that as owners, as business owners, as managers, as leaders, you got to look after your people. And then your people will look after your customers. There was another wise man who said, if you don't take care of your people, they don't take care of your customers. So saying it in a positive, if you gotta look after your people, your team members, so that they will look after your customers. And so it's going to be a win-win-win. The customers win, the people, your people will win, and you will win. Isn't it wonderful? That's beautiful, right? And then, so number one is you decide what you want. Number two is that you discover what the customer wants. And then, number three, it's like obvious, but you got to deliver +1. Or set it with an added phrase, deliver the vision that the customer wants, and then add 1, +1. You gotta give a surprise plus. It's like meeting their expectation, but then giving more. But here's where it could be another trap, and some people would implement this, and they would say, yes, I'm gonna meet their expectation and add extra. And then they go on into including a lot of extra here and there. But then, because it is difficult for them, they don't make it consistent. And that's where the problem comes in. People or businesses offer or promise things, promise this extra or create expectation of having this extra, but then they fail to deliver consistently, then that destroys their business. And so what this book taught me is that, hey, you got to select which one extra will you add, and which you will be consistent with. Okay, that's very important. In other words, it is promising more and delivering more. Okay, promise more and deliver more. So here's a caution, here's a word of caution. Just don't promise too much at once, because that is going to be very difficult and you might not be able to deliver. So don't create that trap for you. Okay, so to create raving fans, you don't drive promises down. Okay, so it's not about the advice that you under promise so you can over deliver. It that's a bit tricky, right? It somewhat makes sense, but what this book is telling us is that, hey, to create raving fans is not to drive promises down, but rather, hey, yes, promise, but then you gotta drive delivery up. Okay, don't drive promises down, but rather drive delivery up. Okay, so that's really a tall order, but hey, if we want to create raving fans, then we gotta do that. And so here is another word of advice. It says here that consistently meeting expectations is even better than exceeding expectations once in a while. Okay, so you might be exceeding expectations once in a while, but it's better to meet expectations consistently. Okay, that's even much better. And so that is why you have to balance. It's for you to be able to deliver +1 or to give that surprise plus, then you gotta choose which one and then be consistent at that extra, whatever that will be, right? And to be able to do this, you need a system. System is going to be beautiful, and there are things that you can include in your system, even in your training, so that your people will be able to follow it. New people coming on board your team will be able to get trained. For example, you gotta craft the training for you to equip your people to be able to project the image that they need to project. Okay, so an example that was given in this book is that they found out that or rather, part of what they want to project as their image is that they're friendly to their customers. And then based on what they have studied, it says there that friendly people talk about topics not directly connected with the business transaction at hand. And that is why their employees are being trained to be able to include this in their conversations with their customers, trying to include something, talking about a topic that is not directly connected with the business at hand. But here's the thing, okay? When you have systems are powerful, right? Systems deliver results. But here's the thing, we could be trapped by overemphasizing on the system, and at times it can derail or it can compromise results when some special cases happen. Like, for example, if a customer is rushing and it says in your training on the system that you gotta talk to them extra, you have to do this chit chat, but what if the customer is rushing? Maybe that won't be good to them. And that is why, yes, you have systems, but then you gotta tell your people that they have the power to be flexible with it. Okay? So it's also telling them that if they think it's not appropriate at the moment, then they don't have to do it. Okay? I see this happen a lot of times when I talk to some like customer care, customer service representatives, and there are times when I'm trying to get things done or get something to be resolved, and you can tell if a customer service representative is just trying to follow the script, just trying to follow the system that may be at times not applicable or not for the best service to be given to the customer. And so a part of the system is telling the people or telling your team that, hey, the system is like the floor, but not the ceiling. It gives you a platform on how to do things, but hey, you gotta also use your mind to discern if it's best to still do that or it's best to tweak it a bit and to be flexible when the moment or the circumstance demands, right? So part of that is being flexible, okay? Yes, you gotta be consistent with how you deal with the customers, but be flexible with what the things you must be doing. Okay, just like in that script, if you have to be flexible, then you please do. And all of these things can be done with you really listening. Okay, really listening to your customers, and also the desire, the wanting to really create raving fans. Okay, so there you go. 3 secrets. Number 1, decide what you want. Number 2 is to discover what the customer wants. And number 3 is to deliver +1. Those are the 3 secrets that I learned from the book Raving Fans. And I know I was just scratching the surface. You got to read this book. It is a classic. It was published in 1993, but hey, it has helped. I believe it has helped a lot of businesses, and maybe it can help you as well. Okay, it will help you as well. So read this book if you are a business owner, if you have a small team, if you're a startup, then I think that can help you. Even in your like for me in my training and my teaching, I'm thinking of ways on how I can apply the concepts that I learned here, and it's something beautiful. You know, it's even I think it's even applicable to churches, to parishes, to religious communities, to organizations like Toastmasters or what else, to marketing students. You gotta read this book. To entrepreneurs, I thank you. I thank Mr. Ken Blanchard and Sheldon Bowles for sharing this. And finally, I got hold of this book. It's a treasure. It's a treasure trove of marketing secrets, especially on the customer service delivery, right? So I hope you got something from this very it's like an impromptu sharing, because I was just taking down notes, I was reading, and I thought, hey, let me just share this to my viewers. It's been a while that I shoot a video for you. It was just a spur of the moment, and I hope this added value to you. And go get your raving fans, create those systems that you need, and I'll see you in the next video. Yeah, please do subscribe here and share this with your friends. If this added value to you, maybe it will add value to them too. God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.